Guys, this is probably one of the coolest apps I've ever seen. It is called Time Lens, and all you have to do is take a photo or video of any street, and it will reconstruct it in full 3D. We can then go ahead and take a look around the environment. We can change the lighting conditions. If you're not happy with the depth of field, you can increase it. You can change the focal length of the camera. So let's see how it works. So here we have San Francisco. This is the sample picture that they used in their ad campaign for this new app. Now, by default, when you install the app, it will be set to the video mode. And if you want to switch to the photo mode, all you got to do is tap on this little icon right here, and now you'll be able to capture just a single image. In the beginning, it was taking me a little bit to figure out how to use the app, because I wasn't sure if I had to hold the camera still or if I could move it. So initially, I tried holding my phone completely still and taking the picture, but that didn't work very well. But once I started moving my phone slowly, it started capturing all the information needed to reconstruct the scene in 3D. This way you can pretty much take 3D photos, which is absolutely incredible. Now keep in mind that you do need to have a fairly powerful phone for this to work. You can see that the processing is quite intensive. For example, on my S22 Ultra, it takes about 40 seconds to process a single frame. But the end result is actually worth it. Now before we jump into the 3D part, let's take a closer look at these 360 photos themselves. As you can see, there's nothing special about them. They're just regular looking pictures, but once you tap on edit, things start to get interesting. On the left, you'll see these dots and lines. These lines are where your phone was looking. So this line represents the zenith. This is the nadir or bottom, and these lines are your horizon lines. And these dots, these are where the main features were detected. So for example, here it's a car, there's a building, another building, a tree and another building. So the app has already identified these points of interest and it is going to try to make a 3D reconstruction of them. And then right here, this is the feature control. So you can see that the app identified 2 cars, 3 buildings, 2 trees and the road. If you think it missed something, you can always go ahead and add manually any features you want. So for example, right here, I'm gonna say there's a 3rd building. Let's tag this one. Okay, so now there are 3 buildings. Then you can go ahead and start matching features between different images. So for example, you can say this is the same building, this is the same tree, this is the same car, etc. The more features you match, the better the final result will be. Now, of course, you don't have to do all this manually. The app also has an auto match feature. All you have to do is just wait for it to finish. And after that, you can go ahead and check the results. Now the auto match is not perfect, so you might have to go back and fix some issues. But I really like the fact that you can actually see all the different images that it has taken and what it thinks each one of them is. So you can see the confidence score right here and the feature that it thinks it is right here. So you can see that it has a very high confidence score for this being a tree and a very low confidence score for this being a car. So if you see anything that doesn't look quite right, you can easily come in here and unmatch these features. Then you can go back and redo the auto match and see if it gets it right the second time. Now that we're done tagging features, we can go ahead and start reconstructing the scene. To do that, all you have to do is tap on render. It will take a few seconds to load up the scene in 3D. And after that, you'll be able to just walk through the environment and see it from any angle you want. The cool thing is that you can change the time of day. So you can go from daytime to nighttime. You can enable or disable fog. You can even set custom fog. You can also change the depth of field. So if you weren't happy with the depth of field when you took the picture, you can just go ahead and increase it right here and everything will be blurred out nicely. You can also change the focal length, meaning you can pretend that you have a telephoto lens or wide-angle lens. So this is the default focal length. You can see that this car is right here. But if I wanted to, I could zoom in a little bit and pretend that I have a telephoto lens. Of course, since this is just a 3D reconstruction of the scene, the quality will suffer a little bit the more you zoom in. You can also switch between different cameras. So for example, I can switch to the fisheye mode and now everything is captured in a fisheye style. I can also switch to the GoPro mode, which looks amazing. Or I can switch to the drone mode and now I can fly over the scene. In addition to that, I can also change the speed of the shutter. So you can see how cool that looks. I can change the aperture and the ISO. Now keep in mind that this is just for show because in reality the shutter speed is controlled automatically by the phone and the aperture isn't really relevant for a single image. But I do like the fact that I can play around with all these settings. You can also enable this little crosshair which helps you align the camera with the scene. Now, obviously this is a very basic scene but the app is still in early access. So you can imagine that when they start rolling out updates, things will become much better. Now the app does have a few limitations. For example, I couldn't find a way to add people to the scene. So if you have people in your original scene, they won't be included in the final 3D model. Also, the app cannot handle complex scenes very well. For example, if you have a bunch of similar looking objects or a bunch of similar colors, the app might not be able to tell them apart and create a proper 3D mesh. So as I mentioned, this is still an early access app. But guys, I am really impressed with the potential that this has. Being able to take 3D photos with your phone, that is just absolutely incredible. And it's going to be even more incredible when this comes out of early access and we see the updates that they roll out. Now this is not a paid app, but it does have in-app purchases. So if you're interested in trying it, I'll leave a link down below in the description and I hope this gets featured in the near future. If you're enjoying my content and would like to support my work, please consider supporting me through donations. This will help me grow and continue making great content. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.